Okay, so what I got here is I got this piece of flint chert that I got out of when my grandson was being born. He's a Choctaw, so he's being born up there at Choctaw Hospital. And anyways, right outside, we were waiting on everything to happen and everything, and I went outside, and right outside was they got landscape rock there, and I noticed that there was some of this in there. I'm not even sure what it is, but they had some of this in there, and security guy. I was knocking on some out there. Security guy came around, and he said, "Yeah, you can take a couple pieces." He thought it was pretty cool that I was napping. So some of the landscape rock. And anyways, so he said, "Yeah, you can take a couple." And I napped an arrowhead there for my grandson. I'm gonna for a pendant, and of course he's only 6 months old right now. But I napped it, and I'm gonna plan to give it to him when he gets a little older. But this is another piece of that, and man, talk about a turtleback. I honestly don't know that I can get this one off without destroying the whole thing. I knocked a flake here, and I took a flake right here already, and so that ran okay. But man, you got this big piece back here. I honestly don't know how to handle this piece. I know that I want to take this top off and preserve as much of this as I can, because I have a feeling I'm probably going to end up with a pretty small point. But we'll see. But we're going to try and get this reduced down. By any means necessary. So knocking down there, I created this platform coming back. It's kind of steep. It's really too steep, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to up bopper size and hopefully don't just break the whole thing. Nope, all it does take a chunk out. Smaller bopper actually did better. Now, how am I going to get that out of there? Right now I'm just there's no width, so obviously it's got to come off the ends. I'm gonna try and see if I can run this here to reduce some of that. Nope, nope. Cannot get underneath that. I'm definitely not going to now. So, got to figure out something else. That stuff just won't give me a break. I know I'm asking it to do things it probably shouldn't do, but well, I told you it probably wasn't going to be a very big point. I wish I could go back, and there was a lot of that I didn't get to investigate. Because although the one security guy said, yeah, take a couple pieces, didn't mean I could take buckets. And I did, and I just took a couple pieces. Whatever it is, I like it though. Whatever it is. Just good, solid material. Just not very big. It's like fun size. Or bite size. Okay, we still got a square edge on this other side. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I am digging this new indirect stick. compared to any other stick I've ever used, and I've tried, I think, most of them. And I'm not saying anything bad about them. They do work, but obviously they work. People use them all the time. But these sticks are like having, I've said it before, it's kind of like having training wheels on. They just really work well. I'm alright with training wheels. I almost forgot I was filming. I was in deep thought about some things that's coming up. Got friends coming in. Supposed to be here on Friday. Also, something exciting happened. I got a permission on several ranches and up in the Flint Hills to go collect flint, and it pretty much said it's everywhere. In fact, the one ranch has got a couple walls on it. I guess it's a lot of wall, but supposedly they're used to keep cattle in back in the day, and they are all built to flint. We'll see what happens with that. I don't know about the quality of the flint or anything else, but I'm going up to spend a few days with the buddy of mine that he's a hunting guide up there, and that's how he has permission on all these ranches, and he's going to introduce me to the ranch owners. He said collecting flint is not going to be a problem, and so he said they don't care anything about the flint. He's a waterfowl and turkey guide up there. I don't know if he does whitetail hunts too or not, but maybe. Kansas is known for big bucks. All right, I think I'm gonna like to pop that off there, but I just probably got to do that with pressure. Yeah, looks like it's gonna be pressure from there on. Well, I zoomed out quite a ways. I don't even know how much that you guys could really see, but might be a fat little point. Not super fat, but might have a little girth to it. Kind of like most people when they hit their mid-20s, right? Start getting a little girth to them. Well, this point might have a little girth to it too. But we're not going to fat shame, so no fat shaming here. Yeah, I was looking at some pictures. Since I had my surgery, I got some of my gut back. I gained 15 pounds since, I don't know, about a month before my surgery. Over the last few months, I guess. So about 5 pounds a month is what I've gained. And I'm trying to get back on track again, lose that 15 pounds. But I was looking at some pictures. We were looking at pictures for my mom's celebration of life, and man, I seen some pictures from a few years ago, and I thought, good grief, who is that guy? That was pretty big. Like my weight I've been staying at is about 185 to 190, somewhere in there. And in those pictures, I was over 310. 310 at one time I weighed, and I know I was heavier than that at one point. So yeah, you wouldn't even recognize me. It's a cool little point. Cool little point. I don't like that right there, but I might just live with it. Or I might just pop it off like that. Oops, here we go. I got my hat on again. Every time I got my hat on, I'm hitting that camera with the feel of it. All right, let's see here. I might scrunch the edges a little bit. I got her straightened out. All right. Cool. There's the flaker I was looking for. I was looking for that when I was grabbing for the scruncher. I was actually looking for this and seen the scruncher and said, well, I'm going to scrunch it. Well, if you've all noticed, but there's really not much rhyme or reason to my napping sometimes. It makes sense to me, it just doesn't really make sense to other people sometimes. So I hear. But that's okay. As long as it makes sense to me. I'd imagine the early Americans that were come across this chert, which I believe this is part of that, I can't remember what it's called, but it's all glacial teal, so they don't actually, I can't remember the name of it. Someone had told me once what they thought it was, and it was probably Curtis Smith. He's the rock guru. I don't know if he's just all self-taught geologist, but or what, but Curtis has got an amazing knowledge of rocks. Not just napping rocks, but all rocks. I see him on them pages and stuff, and not just rocks in his area or any of the rest of that stuff. He's got a lot of knowledge about geology all over the country. But anyways, I think it was part of some glacial teal or something like that that deposited this. Like in places like the Arkansas River and stuff like that, I guess. So, if you can get in the Arkansas River around some gravel bars somewhere, you could probably find some of this. And it's just river cobbles is what it is. You're not going to go find big chunks of this, I don't think. Maybe you are. Maybe it's a super common one. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. I'm not sure, but pretty sure it was one of them churches that come down from somewhere up north that they're pushed by the glaciers and they have no idea where it actually came from. So I believe that's what it was. That's all I want right there, just a little notch just like that. Well, it ain't a very big point, so just not break it out like I just did there. Chunk of it came out. I got too aggressive, started thinking about it stalling, and then I stalled it anyways. Dagnabbit. I busted it out bigger. Thought I could get a hold of it, and I still can't. Couldn't just have two nice little notches. No. Can't do that. Gotta mess them up. Gotta goof them up. Really been doing quite a few concave bases lately. So why not do it here? I do have a secret to not stalling notches. And that's to make stem points. Never stall a notch if you just make stem points. That's cool. Cool little point, even with that little booger right there. I could probably get a hold of that and pop it off, but maybe somehow, but I'm not going to. Not on this one. I'm happy to get a point out of it. I could have very easily went the other direction. With like the world's largest turtleback. Not gonna find too many turtlebacks worse than this one was. It wasn't the height of it, it was the fact that there was no width or really much length. I mean, that piece was probably 4 inches long or something when I started, something like that. I should have measured it, but I didn't. I'm terrible about that. That dude's sharp. I have no doubt that early man would have shoved that through anything they was hunting. But we're going to call it quits on that. So tempted to try and pop that off there, though. A piece of it popped off, but that was it. It's just a little, didn't, right there. It's not really a hinge, it's just a spot. Anyways, that's our piece. Y'all, hope you guys enjoyed the world's largest turtleback. But that's it. This is a piece of landscape rock, a little cobble that was at the hospital when my grandson was born. So that's the second piece of it I've worked in, the second arrowhead I got out of it. The material works absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's not really a lot to look at, but man, it worked great, and it is sharp. So if I was going to hunt with it, I'd sharpen it a little more, but that's all I'm going to do that one. So y'all hit that like, subscribe button. I appreciate you, everyone that is subscribed. I truly, truly appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one. Keep napping.